kind of figure out where to sit.
Okay. Just want to make sure you're all taken care of. Okay.
They want to know she wants to stand.
Yes, she'll be standing. She'll be standing. She'll be standing. She'll be standing next to the speaker because that's what the chief wants. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you need. She didn't know where, you know what I mean? I wasn't.
Yeah, I'll be standing because of how it's going to be. I guess I just know it's going to be streamed because it's going to be streamed based on who's watching versus being here on a steady basis.
Hey, this is their document. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's it. I know it takes like the pressure off, right? Just in a position where you do what you're asked to do.
My favorite thing about watching my fire and stuff like that is
Right. I love that too. I say that a lot at work too. Ask someone who knows. Exactly.
It's Jacqueline. This is Mike. He is the incident commander.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear us? Can you hear us in the back? Can you wave your hand if you can hear us in the back? Red shirt in the back? Great. Good evening. We're going to get started with this public meeting. And we have someone who's signing for us here on my left. So I'll try to talk not too fast. My name is Mark Savage. I'm the information officer for California Incident Management Team number 5. We took command of this incident last evening at 8 o'clock p.m. We are in unified command with Bureau of Land Management, U.S. Forest Service, Kern County Fire Department, Kern County Sheriff's Department. It's a team effort, a collaboration. There's been a lot of excellent work. Prior to us taking over the management of this incident, we were a team that was here 2 years ago for the Wave Fire, and we have a lot of personnel in our 52-person incident management team that are familiar with the area and what we're trying to accomplish. Our objective here today is to provide you with the most timely and accurate information of what is impacting you and your loved ones and your neighbors and those in this community. We feel it's critical, like we always do, to come up and give you some real-time information with the people that are directly involved with the incident. I'm going to make a few introductions for some people that are here that are not going to speak. From the Bureau of Land Management, we have Field Manager Gabe Garcia is here. From the Sequoia National Forest, we have Kevin Elliott, who is the Forest Supervisor. From the U.S. Forest Service, Deputy District Ranger Phil Descends, and he is from the Kern River Ranger District. We are going to hold the questions to the end, and I will ask all my speakers to speak directly into this microphone because I think we have to get fairly close to it and speak up. We want to make sure you hear everything we have to say, so I'll ask my speakers to speak up, and I don't know if we have someone on volume control. If we need some increased volume, I'll just put my hand up and wave for that. I would like to now bring up from Kern County the supervisor of the 1st District to make some brief comments, Mick Gleason.
This one right here.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you being here. I'll be real quick because I know we want to talk about the fire and get an understanding of where we are with the fire, where we are with recovery, and where we are with taking care of you and your most basic needs, which we are absolutely focused on and dedicated to doing. I want to assure you that Kern County is throwing everything we've got at this fire. We're not holding anything in reserve. We're coming out, we're going to get it, and we're going to stay here until it's done. Our focus as a county is on you, is on your property, on your families, and on your community. So we're here to stay until it's complete, and we're going to complete it soon. I want to assure you that we're communicating at all levels of government. Yesterday I had the privilege of escorting Congressman McCarthy, Senator Fuller, Assemblyman Devin Mathis, and we went out and toured various areas of the fire, looked at it. Stunning and shocking, and the adjectives are difficult to find to describe the disaster that has befallen us. So we're working at all levels. We've made all appropriate proclamations. We've got the governor engaged. We've got the White House going. We are full bore on this thing, and we're not going to stop till it's done. Thank you very much for being here. If you have any problems with communication and you're not getting service or you're not getting satisfaction, please feel free to call me or my office, Supervisor Mick Gleason, and we'll jump at serving you. Thank you for being here.
And I've got one more introduction that I do want to introduce, and that's going to be Commander Sean Beasley from the Kern County Sheriff's Department is also here. I would like to now bring up our first speaker, and this is Incident Commander Mike Minton from California Incident Management Team number 5.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the community. How's that? Better? Too tall. I have to be short like Mark. No, this will work. So I wanted to start by introducing myself and my team. So California Incident Management Team 5 is a national Type 1 incident management team. We travel with about 50 folks as part of our core team. And then we can grow that core team larger depending upon the needs of the incident. So we were ordered and called in by the jurisdictional agencies that are involved here, and all within Unified Command. And those have been mentioned already, but it's the Sequoia National Forest, and then the Central California District of the Bureau of Land Management, as well as Kern County. And we're currently in Unified Command now with the Kern County Fire Department, as well as the Kern County Sheriff's Department. So what does this team bring to your community? Well, our attempt is to try to be of the most assistance we can be while we're actively providing the management and oversight for the suppression of the Erskine fire. And so we bring both fire line supervision and operations personnel and expertise, as well as a lot of folks that help with logistics, that support both the firefighters on the ground, as well as some of the safety-related efforts that are put forth in the community. We also have an information staff. We have a finance staff, which attempts to keep the most accurate accounting of the costs of the incident tracked, as well as a planning staff that helps us with intelligence associated to the incident, as well as gathering information such as weather and fire behavior, so we can create good plans of action to be tactically successful on the incident. So that's what the team brings. We are happy to be here and serve your community to the best of our abilities. We're going to have some information next on the current operational status of the incident, so I won't go into that too much, but I did want to take a minute to introduce myself and say thanks to the community for bringing us in and welcoming us to try to assist you in this time of need. We do a lot of work associated to large incident management throughout the country. And this incident management team, it's not uncommon to see anywhere from 2 to 5 large fire assignments a summer. So we spend a lot of our time on the road dealing with these larger, more problematic fires. And I am very sympathetic, as well as all my team members, to the situation that your community is going through right now. We're very sympathetic, and we want to try to be as much of a help to this situation as we possibly can be. So thanks for bringing us into your community, and we'll continue to do the best we can for you. Thank you.
I'm gonna take this off and watch the cord.
Okay, we're gonna have this microphone really close for everybody so we can really make sure you hear us. I'm gonna bring up an operations section chief from California Incident Management Team 5. Joe Reyes is gonna come up here, and we've got a map, and I know you can't see it, but it's gonna be a visual for him to help explain exactly what's going on, what's happened with this fire, and what has happened recently with the fire, and what we hope is gonna happen in the future with this fire. Here's Joe Reyes.
Thank you and good evening. First of all, I want to start off with thanking the local resources on the IA. As most of you probably witnessed how fast this event can happen. As we came into this, tied in with the local fire departments, sheriffs, and so on, they really gave us a good place to start our efforts in order to suppress this. So it worked out real well. The map is difficult to see. I will stay up here after the meeting if you have any specific questions, and I can point them out and we can talk real up and close with the map. Starting off, going general, let's look at the top half. The north side of the fire, it's got a red area. That is the fire perimeter, and it's sort of been pinkened in. That north top of the fire, as far as activity, we have people and line and helicopters and air tankers and all that work that area. And as of tonight, it's holding very well. We have very few smokes left. We're still in there. We do have a lot of mop-up to do, especially where the residents were. So we have a lot of work going on. But as far as fire spread, that north part of the incident is looking really good. Very little to no movement there today. Now, we hit the Kelso Valley Road and we start heading south. If you go south along the Kelso Valley Road, you'll see the fire bumped into the road in a couple places. And the road, with efforts from firefighters and so on, held the road all the way down to get about Rocky Point. Yesterday evening late, it jumped Rocky Point, grew up maybe about 1,000 acres or so on that side of the road. As of this evening, we have people all around that. The line isn't quite connected yet, but we have scratch line and hot spotting and indirect and direct line almost around that entire area, which is good. We're going to have to do a lot more work through the night to hang on to it, but it's looking real good on that part by Rocky Point. Keep going south on the Valley Road, and you get down there by, I believe it's Landing Ship, by that airport area. We had it jump the road there. We did have some structures burnt, yes, last night. We got in there. From that point, we've been able to hang on to it. We've had no additional spread. We're still obviously mopping up and trying to get some line around that in order to contain it from any further spread. Now you get down by the bottom end of the fire, and we've turned that corner, and that's pretty significant to turn a corner and coming across the south part of that tip on the fire, and have started to turn the corner going north again. So we're getting around that. A lot of effort. The winds were somewhat against us today. They started coming out of the east, which wasn't really predicted, and started pushing the fire on us. So it made us have to do a lot more effort down in that lower part than we anticipated, but so far as of this evening, we're hanging on to that, and we're pumping a lot more resources in there tonight to hang on to what we accomplished today. So you start moving up that large finger, heading north now, coming up by Paiute Mountains and that ridge line, and the fire in there, we've gotten some air resources in there, but we haven't got people in there yet. We're trying to work around and come up so we can pinch that off, but we haven't been able to go in there directly at this point with air resources. Coming around, you can see where it bellies out and starts heading west, and you're over there by the 34E Road 41, Little Dry Meadows, and so on. And there's a little bump in the fire there. That is where our hand line is coming from the west, getting back onto 178 and coming eastward. We get all the way out to there. We have established line. The line has been holding throughout the day. We're continuing to construct line into tonight, and of course mopping up as we go in order to hold that line. Fire activity overall was not as dramatic today. We did not have the wind events that you had the last few days. The fuel is burning though. There's a good crop of grass out there from your rains, and the temperatures were up higher. So we did have some fire activity, but it's more fuel and slope than wind. Now with that said, we did have that east wind that started pushing on us a little bit, and we've been hanging on to it, but it is bringing us a little more to the west than it was. So with that, we're looking pretty good. We're hoping to start getting around this thing obviously a little more tomorrow, and hopefully start pinching it off. So, and I know we'll do questions later.
Actually, we're going to hold, if you don't mind, we want to get through all the speakers, and we will absolutely give you folks an opportunity to ask questions, because that's part of this important meeting that we're having. So I'd like to bring up now from the Kern County Fire Department, the Fire Chief, Brian Marshall.
Thank you. I want to touch on several different subjects related to the Erskine fire. We mentioned unified command, and you may be asking, why are we in unified command? Because that's the way we fight fire, not only in California, but throughout the United States. Unified command brings together the agencies to tackle this problem and make it go away so your life's no longer impacted. And there is fire agencies from throughout California in our community right now fighting this problem. So we talked about an incident management team, and I think we need to give a big hand to this incident management team right now. They were called to help us. They responded to help us. They are here helping us. They bring a lot of experience. They bring a lot of tools to the table to help us fight this fire. It's important that you know that we're all engaged in fighting this fire. Not just the fire agencies, but law enforcement plays a huge role in this with the evacuations. This is a team effort. And I can tell you that firefighters in your community today Some of them have been down in Southern California fighting the border fire, the fish fire, the reservoir fire, because that's what we do. We go throughout California and we help people. So that's why we're in unified command. We're all part of this team that works. And if you go back a couple years, the Way Fire, the Shirley Fire, incident management teams were here to help us. So let's talk a little bit about initial attack. Because we all know here in the Kern River Valley, in the summer, we have wildland fires. And they impact us sometimes not so much. And like this fire, they impact a lot of people, the entire community. So shortly before 4 o'clock on Thursday, we received a report of a wildland fire. And because this year we face extreme drought, we're going into year number 5. We have high temperatures. Our operations chief mentioned we have a good grass crop out there because we did get rains. And we have wind. So the response for the agencies that serve here on initial attack, which is the Kern County Fire Department, the Sequoia National Forest, and the Bureau of Land Management, we're responding everything to the fire so we can catch it when it's small. And I can tell you, the minute the call came in, everybody was moving. And that's just not the resources here, but that's the resources such as the air tankers, the helicopters, all of that. Everybody's responding. We arrived on scene real quick. We know where the Lake Isabella Fire Station is. It's right around the corner. Sequoia Forest, they were on scene real quick. And we made an attack. Unfortunately, this was a situation where Mother Nature and a spark collided at the wrong time. Hot, dry weather, windy conditions, fuel that is bone dry, and we had a spark. And this fire moved extremely fast. For those of you who live in the Kern River Valley, fires in this area usually burn to the top of Cooks Peak, and we're able to get our resources, our helicopters, our air tankers, our bulldozers, hose lines, and we're able to contain this fire relatively quickly. This fire, we weren't that lucky. Again, Mother Nature and a spark collided, and this fire moved extremely fast. So what did we do? Forest Service, BLM, Kern County Fire, we were in unified command then. And we were making decisions on the ground to order more resources to protect your structures. Our mission, your firefighters that are in this room and out on the line, our mission is to protect life and property first. And the orders were placed. More air tankers, more helicopters, more fire engines. You may hear the term strike teams. We were ordering strike teams of structure protection engines to respond to protect your home. We have 3 fire stations here in the Kern River Valley. We have fire stations in East Kern, Metropolitan Bakersfield, Taft, Fraser Park. All those fire stations were sending equipment. The Sequoia National Forest, the Bureau of Land Management, we were all sending more equipment because I can tell you it's better to catch the fire when it's small than when it's this big. We were actively engaged in protecting your structures to save them. We were not fortunate with every structure. The weather conditions, the fire behavior was extreme, but we had fire trucks in neighborhoods protecting homes. Your firefighters from all these agencies were actively engaged through the night. And I know everybody was up watching the fire as it burned across the mountain through our communities. There was extreme fire behavior. And let me tell you, this fire is personal to the Kern County Fire Department, the Sequoia National Forest, the BLM, because a lot of our firefighters live in this community. This is their community. They live here. Their kids go to school. Their spouse works here. This is very personal. We had a Kern County firefighter actively engaged in fighting this fire, protecting your homes, and he lost his home. This is very personal to us. But together as a community, we are going to recover. Later in the night, we made the decision to order this incident management team. Right decision. Get more people here to help us. It takes fire engines. It takes fire trucks. It takes food to feed your firefighters. They have to have some place to sleep, to clean up. This is the team effort, and that's what this incident management team brings to the table. That's why we do this. So the fire continues to burn, and your firefighters are staffing this fire 24 hours a day. We're going to put this fire out, and we are going to recover from it. There were a lot of homes saved because of defensible space. And I know everybody in the audience that lives up here knows what defensible space is. We cannot preach it enough. Your work to protect your house allows our firefighters a better chance to save your house. And as we repopulate the areas, if you take a look, you will see houses that were saved because of defensible space. And if you haven't done your hazard reduction now, it's not too late. Everybody needs to do their hazard reduction, defensible space, because it works. Take a look around. So let's talk about repopulation, because I know you want to go home. We want to go home. We want to get you home. We are working on a repopulation plan so you can go home. We've been actively engaged for the last few days fighting the fire. Now it's time to start recovering, and part of that is getting you home. So the repopulation plan, that's what we're working on. Part of this is we all know that fires generate bad stuff. Smoke, the ash, metals that melt and burn in the fire. And then what we've learned from previous fires is there's a lot of toxic stuff out there. We want to make sure your house, if it's burned up and you're digging through it, asbestos into your lungs, that's not good. So we are working right now through the night and into tomorrow to make sure that when we repopulate these communities, and we want to repopulate them as soon as possible, that you're safe. We can't let you go back until it's safe. We saved you from the fire. We don't want the long-term health effects. We're also going to talk about water, drinking water, sanitation. That's very important. That's all part of the plan. We all know the power's out. Southern Cal Edison is putting power lines back in. It's a process. Just like we have a process to extinguish the fire, we have a process to get you back in. I know it's inconvenient. I know you want to go home. We want you to go home. But we have to do it the correct, and we have to do it the safe way. Your safety, whether the fire's burning or the repopulation, I cannot stress this enough, your safety is our number one priority. We will get you back in, maybe as early as tomorrow, because this is now our priority. Put the fire out, repopulate our communities. Again, this is a team effort. You've met the team up here, the firefighters, but you're part of the team too. And we appreciate everything that you do to help us. And we know you're actively engaged because you're here. We want to give you the information We want to get you back in your house. Bear with us as we continue to work through this process, and I guarantee you it will be a quick process, it will be a safe process, and you will be back in your house. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Excellent comments. And we also gave a briefing similar to this to the folks at the evacuation shelter in Kernville earlier. And let me cover just one more item that I'm sure the Chief also is well aware of. But we want to also say that this fire is not out yet. You saw the smoke up there today. Joe Reyes was talking about we still have some areas that are giving us difficulty. And with as dry as the fuel is out there still, and we still got a very big fire out there that we don't have really much containment on. And containment, it means an actual line that we either construct with hand crews or dozer teams. Sometimes we can use natural and man-made barriers for this containment, which is putting in a box that is down to earth, remove the fuel from the fire. And until we can do that and declare that we have it contained, if we get another wind event and we still have fire out there, whether it's hot spots or active flames, we are still in danger of this fire blowing up and moving out and impacting these areas that we have around this fire and the communities we have around this fire. So that's the other component of what the fire chief said, is there is still a danger to some areas and some people and communities of this fire. That is the other element that we need to make sure it is also safe from potential fire activity. And you saw the smoke in the air today. It's not like we don't have smoke. We have still plenty of fire out there. Now, we might repopulate based on areas at a time. It's not going to be all at once, but I agree. The incident management team also, it's on our top priority is to get you folks home when it's safe to do so, but we also want to make sure that the fire and another wind event's not going to blow all over the place, and now we've placed you back in harm's way. So we appreciate your patience and understanding. We know what it means to you to be out of your homes, and we understand, and it's important to us, and we're working on the plan to do it, but to do it safely, and thank you for understanding that. I want to bring up one other item I want to talk about, damage assessment teams, unless someone else is going to speak on that. Let me just cover real quick. What also is important for us to let you know, we are with CAL FIRE and also Kern County Environmental Health working together to go out and try to get information to release to those individuals and the families that have had damaged or destroyed property. We've asked them to do, actually the fire chief has asked them to do a preliminary report first before they do an in-depth report. The preliminary report is going to be much quicker to provide that information to those individuals that unfortunately have suffered a loss. We want to help facilitate, so does Kern County Fire, and everyone up here, to be as quick as possible with that information. And what we're going to do it in phases, basically a preliminary report, which is going to get some basic information, whether addresses have suffered structure damage or destroyed structures or not. And we want to provide that as soon as we can, because we know that is what everyone wants to know if they're in an area that there were structures destroyed. So we're working on that. We will get that to the individuals as soon as we can. That's very important information. Okay, I'd now like to bring up from the Sheriff's Department, Ray Pruitt from Kern County Sheriff's Department. He's the Public Information Officer, to make some comments.
Good evening. The Sheriff's Office has been involved in this effort since the get-go Thursday night, just to kind of bring you up to speed as to where we're at. We just concluded precautionary evacuations in the Landers Meadows and Clareville area at about 5 p.m. this evening. We're continuing to conduct patrols in the affected areas of the Yankee Canyon, Squirrel Valley, Mount Mesa, South Lake, Weldon, and the Kelso Valley area. For those who need medication, they're going to have to go to the Red Cross shelters at either Kernville Elementary at 13350 Sierra Way or St. Jude Catholic Church at 86 Nellie Dent Drive. For those who have decided to remain in their homes and they now need medications, they can also go to the shelters if they're having difficulty getting to their regular pharmacy. As a reminder, for people who decide to leave an affected area under recommended evacuations, they're not going to be allowed to go back until the evacuation has been lifted. We don't have an exact number yet of the number of homes that have been contacted for evacuation, but we do know it is in the hundreds. We've handled about 90 check the welfare calls since the beginning of the fire. We had 2 juveniles who were reported missing on Thursday evening, but they were located, thankfully, during the night, and they were reunited with their families. We would like to encourage anyone who has been displaced by the fire to register with the Red Cross Safe and Well program, and I believe the website is safeandwell.org, so that they can be reunited with family members. We have been able to resolve the vast majority of those situations, and we're continuing to work with fire authorities as the areas become accessible to us to complete those tasks. As most of you are aware, unfortunately, there were 2 people who were located yesterday, deceased, on a property in South Lake. This afternoon, there were some burned remains found at this point at a location in 4100 block of Fiddlebrook, which is east of us. We have not determined at this point if those remains are human. We do have crime scene investigators and coroner's investigators and detectives on that scene, but again, we have not determined at this point whether the remains that were found this afternoon are human remains. Any of these cases where we come across bodies or potential human remains, we're treating them as homicide scenes at this point, just to be on the safe side, although it has not been determined at this point how the fire began. Thank you.
I'm going to bring up Commander Sean Beasley from Kern County Sheriff's Department. He'd like to make a few comments as well.
Thank you. I promise I'll make this very quick. I just want to thank all the fire department, both state and federal. They do an awesome job. Everybody up here on the incident command team couldn't do it without them. The sheriff's office, people that are out here working for us right now in this area, we're having to pull them from everywhere in Kern County, and we still have to make sure everybody else is safe everywhere else in Kern County. So as much as I know you guys don't want to be out of your house, those closures, fire is the expert. Whenever they tell us we need to have a road closure, we're going to have to keep you out of there, okay? Please give those guys a break. They're leaving their families over 12 hours a day to be up here, and just understand that protecting life is the most important thing we're doing right now. The fire department's doing an awesome job protecting property, everything else. We really can't go back to your houses and get everything. As much as we hope they're all saved, saving your lives is the #1 priority to us. Thank you very much for your patience, and please appreciate these guys on the hard closure too, because they're up here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. And that is a good reminder. I would like to also remind that in the Sheriff's Department or any law enforcement agency, when they come to work with us on a fire, it's the responding fire decision makers, the instant commanders from fire, that are looking at the map and seeing where the fire is going, and we turn to the Sheriff's Department to execute the evacuations that the fire is driving, that we tell the sheriffs of what needs evacuated and what timeline, and then they go put themselves in front of the fire to evacuate you folks, and it is the fire department or the fire agency instant commanders that are making that decision. So please don't be upset with the Sheriff's Department. They're just doing their part as a team effort to help us get you out of harm's way. So they might be on the hard closures, but they're just doing what the fire team or the initial attack, Kern County Fire, BLM, U.S. Forest Service, they are executing the orders that we are requesting them to do for public safety. They are doing a job that they're tasked with. So it's not them that's keeping you out of your homes, it's the fire that's keeping you out of your homes. And just please understand that they are executing a job that they are responsible for in this team effort, unified command. So, and I'll go back to, it is our priority to, as soon as it's safe to do so, and there's many factors with down power lines, issues with drinking water, poles down, infrastructure, fire activity. There's many components that decide whether and when we can allow you back in specific areas. And just because maybe you won't see smoke in the air tomorrow as much as you did today, that doesn't mean that all of those elements of what we need to do to return you safely home, all those elements might not have been taken care of. So we're watching it very closely, and we will get you back in homes as soon as possible. And with that said, I'd like to bring up Donna Fenton from Kern County Public Health to speak on some issues that is in her shop.
I know Chief Marshall touched on some of the public health impacts of the fire, but I was just going to go into some more specific details about that. The first is the water situation. We have Cal Water here with us today, and I know they've done a really good job of notifying their customers, which is the majority of you are on one of the Cal Water systems or are managed by Cal Water. They have gone last night, late into the night, and early this morning to make sure that all 1,473 of you have received the notice that you're on a boil water notice. What does that mean? Do not drink the water, do not use it for cooking food, preparing food. You want to make sure you use bottled water for that. Or, or boil it before you use it for consumption. It's okay to shower in it, you just don't want to ingest it. They are also providing bottled water at their facility, which is located at 7138 Lake Isabella Boulevard. So you can go pick up bottled water from them. They're providing water, and also water that's been donated is going to be located there. We don't know how long you are going to be on this notice. We're thinking the earliest it's going to be lifted is Wednesday. So that means that you're going to have to stock up on that bottled water to use it if you're in your homes and haven't been evacuated. You want to make sure that you're using the bottled water. Now, this notice of either do not drink or boil water notice is for the entire Kern River Valley. So Cal Water is on a boil water notice. Some of you are on a do not drink, and there is a difference between the two. There are some water systems that have a certain concentration of nitrates. When you boil it, it concentrates it, so it makes it worse. For those that are on the do not drink, you only have the option of bottled water. Do not boil your water to consume it. There are some smaller water systems that have not been notified, but you can assume, even if you haven't received the official notification from your water company manager, that you are on one of those notices, because all of them at some point during this fire were impacted because of the power outage, and the lines were depressurized, which means that there could be contamination in your water. So we want to make sure that you're safe, and we are going to be helping to send teams out to assess your water systems, make sure that they're properly disinfected and that they're tested, and then you will be notified when those bacteriological tests come back and that it's safe for you to consume that water. The other thing that Chief Marshall already touched on was the ash debris. We know from talking with our counterparts in Lake and Calaveras County that there are high concentrations, depending on what, the age of your home and what was in it, of hazardous materials. That's the asbestos, lead, and mercury. Many times those are inhalation hazards, but with mercury, it can even be a dermal exposure. So getting it on your skin can actually be absorbed through your skin. I know you're anxious to get back there and see what's left if your house has burned and you're wanting to sift through it. Just not a good idea right now. We want to make sure that you survive the fire, that you don't have any additional health impacts because of what could be in that, potentially be in that ash. Again, we've got teams standing by. As soon as we get the all clear that it's safe for us to go in there, we will start conducting tests to make sure that it's okay. And we're also providing some N95 masks, gloves, and ways for you can do this safely once it's been determined that it's okay to go and start pick through that. We want you to know that we are here with you every step of the way with the recovery process. We're going to be there. We're already working on debris management for after it's okay to get back in there and be able to start cleaning up. We want to be there to assist you with that as well. Some of the other things to be aware of as far as public health, if you're asthmatic, if you have any respiratory conditions, and there's still, as you can see from the air quality, that's one of the other reasons we distributed the N95s, and we're bringing out more today, is you want to wear that N95 mask just to protect your respiratory system. So in addition, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We left some informational flyers there with phone numbers on it. We're also going to be posting all of this information on our website along with other information as it's available. So.
Thank you. I'm going to bring Chief Marshall. He wants to make one more comment, please.
Actually, I left out two very important agencies that are here in your community helping extinguish this fire. CAL FIRE and the California Office of Emergency Services. CAL FIRE partners with the Kern County Fire Department on a daily basis. We work together, whether it's a fire in your community, protecting your community through hazard reduction, and throughout Kern County. They're one of our biggest partners. So CAL FIRE, big hand for CAL FIRE. The Governor's Office of Emergency Services supports us in a lot of different ways. They have fire engines that they give to fire departments throughout California, and our firefighters staff these fire trucks and they respond when we need help. You may see some green fire engines around here. It says Governor's Office of Emergency Services. They're here in our community helping us. So a big hand for California Office of Emergency Services. It really is a team effort, and there's a lot of people, and I apologize for leaving those two agencies out. But there's also another team that works not directly with extinguishing the fire, but managing and helping and keeping you comfortable as possible during this evacuation. So it all starts with the Kern County Office of Emergency Services. This agency, which is under the fire department, when we put out that call for evacuations, ready Kern? The Kern County Office of Emergency Services is the one that's starting those messages and getting them out. We have an emergency operations center in Bakersfield, and I can tell you it's staffed right now with people that are supporting the shelters. They're helping with the fire department and the firefighting operations in various ways, and that plays a big part in making this a successful operation. And they're not just for wildland fires. The Office of Emergency Services is preparedness. It trains your government leaders to deal with these type of emergencies, not just wildland fires, but floods, earthquakes. So they're on the front lines working hard right now. The other agencies, Kern County Mental Health, Aging and Adult Services, Human Services, and the Red Cross. Let's give a big hand for those agencies. These are the ones that are activated at a moment's notice to drop everything that they have to come help you. So it is truly a team effort. Firefighters, law enforcement agencies, Office of Emergency Services, Red Cross, all of those different agencies are in your community right now helping you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And now I'd like to bring up Kevin McCumber from Cal Water to make some comments about the water situation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep it very brief. If you are a Cal Water customer and you have questions about the boil water notice, Eric Furtado from our water quality department is here or answer any questions with regard to the water boil notice. If you are a Cal Water customer who lives here full-time, year-round resident, and you have lost your home, our local manager, Chris Whitley, is in the back. Please see him after this meeting, or you can also stop by and see him at our office on Lake Isabella Boulevard between 2 to 8 during the days, or 2 to 10 in the evening is when he's working right now during the emergency. And last but not least, on your way out, if you need water to take home, we have 2 trailerfuls up in the top parking lot here. So head on up there, grab some if you need to take some with you to either the center or back to your homes. And of course, we have water available at our office on Lake Isabella Boulevard. That's all I wanted to say. I won't take a lot of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. We're just about to open up the questions for you because I know that's an important part of this. I just want to make a couple introductions as well. We've got who is also here if you have questions regarding Edison. We've got Cal Rossi from SoCal Edison is here. We've also got Jessica Befero from the American Red Cross is here, and I'm going to ask them to come up because if there's any questions that is in their lane, I'd like to have them step up to the microphone. Yeah, the volunteers of the American Red Cross that drop everything in their lives to come out as volunteers to staff the shelter and all they do. Jessica, your team, absolutely. We commend the volunteers that jump in action as well, just like the Chief said. As a reminder, there was some information I got. There might be a local radio station in Bakersfield that's saying that the firefighters need food out on the fire line or here fighting this fire or supplies. Let me squash that rumor. That is not true. We do have sack lunches and other hot lunch and a hot breakfast and a hot dinner that's served every day to our firefighters. That is part of what the logistical staff of the instant answer teams brings. So I heard there was a bunch of ladies making spaghetti for the firefighters. That's nice. I'm sure it's delicious. But you can bring it. Actually, I'd like to reach out to Red Cross. Is there any needs that the Red Cross has from the public for either supplies? If you'd like to come up, Jessica. So to make it clear, please help us spread the good rumor. We do not need any logistical support with supplies or food for any of the firefighting staff. We'd like to focus any donations on the victims of this fire and future victims of future fires. So if you want to make a donation, keep those folks in mind because there's a lot of people impacted by this fire. We'd like to focus on the victims. Anything you'd like to add, Jessica?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I would just like to add that similar to the firefighters, our Red Cross shelters are staffed with all the supplies that they need at this time. If you would like to support Red Cross Disaster Relief Services, the best way to do so at this moment is through a financial donation. For those who would like to donate goods and other physical items, we have established a few points for drop-offs. The local one up here being at the local Elks Lodge in Wilford Heights. They're accepting donations on our behalf. We're partnering with them and the Salvation Army to do the intake and sorting of all those supplies. So that's one location you could drop off those donations. Additionally, we've partnered with Goodwill Industries. You could take your donations to any Goodwill store in the county, and we'll be providing residents in need with vouchers so that they can go get supplies there free of charge.
Thank you, Jessica. And we do want to make sure we keep in mind all the victims of this fire, and there's going to be quite a few with the numbers of homes that have been damaged or destroyed, so they are going to be the ones that need your help. Please keep them in your your mind if you're going to make a donation. So we'd like to open this up to questions and answers from you, the public. You're the folks that have the questions. What we were going to do is I don't question once I hear it, and make sure that we get the right person to answer that, and if we cannot answer that, we will get you the answer. So just kind of wave your hand and we'll listen for your questions. Yes, do you have a question?
Can you tell us what the logistics are now? How many acres?
Yes, I do have that. If you didn't get a handout, we've got a fire update and a current action cleanup removal. The current numbers on this fire, it's 35,711 acres burnt. It is, and Joe is going to tell me that percentage is going to go up because we're out there building a lot of line, and I anticipate that number will go up. There's a potential that some of the constructed containment line, but if the fire's out, we're going to have to walk every 1,139 firefighters here. We're hoping the expected containment date is June 30th. And this firefight continues until we have this 100% contained, where if we get a wind event, we will not be worried about it because it's not going to blow it out of the containment area. That's what we want to do because we have to plan for the worst, hope for the best, and if the weather event comes where we get another 30 to 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, we need to make sure those containment lines and the status of the fire is not going to get away in a wind event. Question in the blue, I'll go over there.
Yeah, question. I know the Kern Valley Health Care District is closed at the moment. Is there any reopening?
And you said the Kern? There was some, during the firefight, during that first operational period, based on the fire activity, to shelter them in place, which means leave them there with the defensible space so the fire did not cause them to evacuate. The hospital did have some issues with water, electricity, and the logistical issues is what I'm being told is causing that hospital, the patients to be relocated, is the information that I got earlier today, and it's not based on the fire threat. It's based on some logistical challenges that they're having with water, with electricity. And my information is that was taking place. As far as when that reopens, it's going to be based on water, electricity, and maybe other reasons that I'm not aware of, but it is not due to the fire danger.
One more follow-up question. I know the communications has been pretty poor, like with AT&T and other.
I do know that AT&T was flying, now either by helicopter or how they were flying it, that they were going to put a repeater up as soon as they are working on that. I know that even the firefighting crews, some of us have AT&T, and believe me, it's not impacting our communication. We have workarounds to make that happen. But that AT&T service being down is impacting a lot of people, not only you. But we are heavily involved in making sure that they're working on it diligently, and they are. I haven't been told
24 to 48 hours.
24 to 48 hours. And Cindy, you had something for me if you'd like to come back and whisper in my ear.
Oh, I was just going to say that the 100 patients are at the hospital. There was a rumor they were evacuating at first, and they did not evacuate. They had full services, so that was a rumor. We had some problems with social media. However, the 100 patients, their families are being advised, and we're trying to find places for them between Ridgecrest and Bakersfield. So if you have someone in the extended care, there's 78 patients in the extended care portion, your loved one you'll be notified they'll be going to Ridgecrest or Bakersfield.
Okay, so we can follow up some information on that. I'm going to take a question over here, and I see you waving, but you'll be real close to the next. Sorry, yes, question, please. Yes.
Our backyard was doused with garden. Is there any adverse effects to the garden, toys, intakes?
The question is that his backyard has some phos check from the aircraft. Is there any health effects? And Joe, do you want to take that? I haven't talked to us afterwards, but we have to give you some direction. And it is, if you have it on your car, we'd want you to wash it off. No, it is fertilizer. You're not getting, it's not hazardous materials, but we can get you some information specifically. Come see me after the meeting. Let me just clarify. The hospital, the patients were all relocated yesterday. Let me clarify that the hospital was in fact, that is a true statement. Sorry for the confusion. You, sir, in the green shirt.
Do you have any reports of active looting?
The question is, do we have any reports of active looting? And that question came up in the 10 o'clock briefing this morning. The sheriffs, I'll be happy to have them come up, but no, there's no reports of active looting. If there were, they'd be out there. They've got sheriffs out there, and Chief, Commander, if you'd like to take that. But that question was asked earlier, and they've got a lot of patrols out there preventing any kind of looting. And if anyone reports it, they will respond and take action. Do you have a follow-up, sir?
I do have a follow-up.
Commander?
I'm a volunteer with the Sheriff's Department in Squirrel Valley, and I've had about 5 people tell me that they're trying to defend their homes from looters. That's the truth right there. And I've seen a couple deputies up there tell them they can do what they need to do just to take care of their property and not condone anything other than that. So maybe you're not getting reports or you're not telling us, but there's crime, especially because South Lake has been burned.
Reports of suspected confirmed any crimes or looting. If you believe that there are, please call us because we absolutely want to stop us. I promise you, we've had deputies in several areas, both patrolling those areas and when we do get calls of suspicious people or vehicles. So again, if you're representing yourself to be part of the sheriff's office and you think that we're not doing something correctly, please stop by and see me afterwards. Please do not just make assertions that I do not believe are true.
Sir, question over here.
I think we're all here for the same thing, most of us. You spoke earlier about a return plan. So what is the return plan? How is it going to be implemented? How will we know that it is implemented and in place? And when will that happen?
I'm going to have Chief Williams come up and get into more details on that.
Okay, a repopulation plan is what we're calling it. We build an incident action plan for fighting the fire. We also build a repopulation plan to get you back into your home. As we discussed, we have some issues we need to work through to make it safe for you to go back in there. We also want to put together information for you so when you go back into your house, you're safe. So we're going to build a plan to get you back into your house. As we build it, we're starting it now. When we start fighting the fire, we actually start the other parts of it too. So we're building the repopulation plan. When will you be back in? Not soon enough. I agree with you. We want you back in there right away. We are targeting to start repopulation of these communities at noon tomorrow. Okay, hold on just a minute. That's what we are targeting. But we have to do it in a systematic way. We're just not going to take the roadblocks away and let you just get back in there. We want to do it in a systematic way to get you back into your house where we don't have a mad rush. We want to bring you in certain areas at certain times so we can help you out.
That's all we want to know.
So we are trying to get the plan. You will know what the plan is as we move forward. Trust me, your safety is our number one priority, and getting you back in is 1.5.
Sir, how are we going to know when there is no radio? How do we know? Simple question. How do we find out?
We will be out there in the communities letting people know when we're going to allow you back in. We'll be in the shelters. We'll get the information out. I promise. We will get the information out.
Television, internet, Facebook.
A lot of us are displaced. A lot of us are living with friends. How do we find out?
Bulletin board, website.
Oh, excellent idea. We'll get information out. We'll work with the incident management team to get the
Local radio is going to be great.
local radio is going to help us.
Radio isn't on work.
No, the two FMs got burned up.
Electricity, radio.
Okay, listen up, please.
AM 1140 is still on, okay? And we're getting information out on that as it comes in. I'm getting back here to go on here as soon as we're through here. So,
Okay, so we're,
they will notify us. I will get on the air immediately and hit the message.
we will get the message out. We'll work through what the issues are. Like we realize AT&T cell phones are down. If you have that, we can't put out a ready Kern through that. But we'll work through these issues. That's part of the plan. It's just like how we fight fire. You know, where the bulldozers are going to go, where the air tankers are going to go, how we get the information out. That'll be part of the plan. That's what the incident management team's here for, to help build that plan.
Okay, your question is, how will you know if your house is burned down? And that is what I commented on earlier, the damage assessment teams. We're going to go through the county department of responsibility that we're setting up. Believe me, you guys aren't all in one place, and if we need to call a public meeting to give this to you, we will do that. Are you familiar with INCIWEB? INCIWEB. Google it. All of these information regarding repopulation, regarding, you're going to get the information. We're going to use every means possible to information out to you. We're still working on that. Question? Yeah, Kern County Fire over here in the red shirt. Joe? The question was the fire potential evacuation, precautionary evacuation message that.
So again, it's difficult to look at the map from back there, I realize. But the fire itself did push to the east with that little east. We did the precautionary just so you can get evacuate. We're feeling pretty good about our suppression efforts in that area. We were able to hang on to it. It's probably about 500. Sure nobody got caught or surprised if it should keep going, if that east wind would have continued to push the fire and so on. So at this moment we're feeling pretty good about Bodfish, if it should pick possible, if needed to evacuate. And that's all we were doing, is just giving you that heads up.
Question, sir, with the camera.
This is also going to go to Legislative Department's Natural Resource Preservation. But I'm going to ask the question, there's like Bodfish and other places that weren't affected directly by the fire. What can the community do to help out with those that, like the disabled and the elderly that can't get out of their houses? What can we do to protect the surrounding areas that have not been affected by the fire?
For future fires, are you saying?
Future fires, or even now that we don't have the fire, what can the communities do to help each other?
The question is, what can community members do to assist other community members that might not be mobile, elderly, wheelchair-bound? Absolutely, and it really comes down to getting involved with your community, whether it's a neighborhood watch or having a plan. You need to have a evacuation plan for fire. I know that there's different agencies that have that, but it's all about teamwork and cooperation and taking care of your neighbors, and be willing to lend a hand, whether they have large animals and more than they have. And it comes down to the good old concept of helping each other out. So I know a lot of that took place during this fire, and that's what we would certainly encourage, because it is a team effort, and the fire might not be impacting you, but maybe it's impacting your neighbor 3 or 4 canyons over. So identifying those folks that need help, and if you need help, you need to ask for it, and it's nice to pre-plan that.
Onyx, those systems have not been impacted by the fire, and the quality of the water is fine, and it's perfectly fine to drink.
Thank you. Question in the back in the purple shirt, please. When will electricity be restored in the area? And SoCal Edison has been waiting for that question. Come on up.
I wish Southern California Edison had an answer to the question.
Speak up real loud.
Right now we're currently assessing the damage. We know that we have 25 transmission towers that have been destroyed and 200 distribution poles. It's difficult to put an assessment on when we're going to get restoration because we have to work through our fire personnel to even gain access to some of those areas. So as we coordinate through the Unified Command System, we will deploy staff to go out and do the damage assessments and get the resources to start bringing the system back up. But at this point, it's difficult to give an accurate assessment of that because of conditions on the ground.
Thank you. And as a reminder, they are here. You are next, I promise. SoCal Edison teams are here embedded with us at the command post, going to briefings and breakouts with operations because it's so important. We bring them into the fire risk management component to talk to our operations staff to determine where they can go work safely and where they can't. So they're working hand in hand with us because we want the power restored as well. And the question for you, yes, please. The question is, for those evacuees that possibly left any animals back, and I'm sure when they left, probably several days of food and water, I would imagine. And now the question is, as we go into day 3, day 4, and beyond, what means can we now get some additional... I can answer the animal services. Perfect. How can we get additional food or water to these animals? Because animals are very important in this, absolutely, and we all recognize that. And I'm going to have him introduce himself, but I've got an expert right here behind me.
Nick, Director of Kern County Animal Services. To answer your question, we have 5 animal control officers that are in the Kern River Valley since the fire started. We also have 4 animal care workers that are manning the temporary emergency animal shelters that are adjacent to or in or around the Red Cross shelters. We're caring for about 35 owned animals at this time. Our officers are responding to calls that come into our dispatch for folks that are concerned about their animals, that are worried that they don't have food, they don't have water, that they may be injured. Those calls go through our dispatch. Our dispatch is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Outside of those hours, all calls for animal services go through the Sheriff's Department. Those calls will come to us. Our officers will check on your animals as time permits and safety permits. The Kern County Sheriff's Department's phone number is 661-861-3110, I believe. That was area code 661-861-3110. And during normal business hours for animal services, that number is area code 661-868-7100.
Yes, please. The question is, when we do allow you back in your homes, will you need your ID? Sheriff's Department, I would imagine it's a commander. If residents want, when we do repopulate, will they need identification to get back into their homes when we start repopulating? And the answer would be yes. Did I get the question right? I'm sorry. I'm sure we will address that, yes. We will, believe me, you're special, that we will I'm sure, work through that problem with you. Yes, we want, if your home is the one being repopulated, yes, I'm sure they will accommodate. Yes. I'm sure we will get you back to your home one way or another. I'm certain, even if it's a recent move and their ID doesn't match their address. Yes, we will. We want to get you back in your home, and we're not going to. We're going to make that happen, I'm sure. Yes, question in the back. We're going to just take 2 more questions, and then no one is going to be leaving. We welcome interaction. Joe Reyes will be standing at the map to talk more details regarding the fire status. So, any more, sure, please. Actually, if you got more, please come up here and I'd like to give you the microphone so everyone hears. This is someone in the community that is offering some assistance. So we'll have her come up. While she comes up, I do want to take this question right here. Yes, please.
I was wondering if possibly we could get a simple walkthrough of what needs to occur to gain monetary assistance for the disaster relief and just help people with that.
And I don't have that. You're asking what is going to be the process to get financial assistance if you've been impacted, correct?
Yes.
And can you introduce?
I'm Shavani. I'm the operations director at Lake Plaza, which includes Subway, Little Caesars, Del Mar Taco. Like I said, we are open to housing people in our facility. If anybody needs an air-conditioned place, water, if you guys need cable, if you need landlines to contact your children, your parents, whoever it is, come by. We're offering our phone. We do have service in our facility. Also, we have already started collecting clothes. If you have any clothes locally and you're not able to go out to Elks Lodge, please feel free to bring them. I have boxes set up. We have a couple employees whose houses have burned down. So yes, we are looking for a way to get them back up on their feet. We have clothing boxes, we have canned food boxes, anything, and we have also set up cans in our facility as well that you guys, if that's the way that you want to provide, please feel free to come by and help us and help the people that are in need. We do have people that are in our place currently that are also in help, like in need of help.
Okay, thank you very much. But further answer your question, I'm sure we will take all means necessary to help with the recovery. Thank you so much. As far as financial assistance on either state or federal level, once that information is provided to us, we will do everything possible to provide that information to you.
Commander, I have an answer.
Oh.
Red Cross does provide financial assistance for those who have lost their homes or have damage.
Louder, put the microphone real close.
Okay. So what I'm recommending to you, if you have been affected, even if you're staying with friends and family or somewhere else, please stop by our shelter and get registered. And you're also welcome to hang out there, get information as we get it from the fire agencies. We're providing that to shelter residents. You can get meals, but also get registered, because if FEMA and other assistance does come in, we'll be working closely with them to make sure that we're sharing our information and vice versa, and we're assisting everybody who needs assistance.
Thank you, Red Cross. That's going to conclude the question and answers, but we are still here. Please come and see us, and we will be happy to answer any questions we possibly can. Thank you for coming. We will have another meeting as required. We will let you know. Thank you for coming. Hang on one second.
I was just going to say that we're going to try to put on reports shortly after the top.
Make sure she gets that.
Okay.
So that's why I gave you a card.
Oh, no, I appreciate that.